I have a timer. Go.
Good?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just go.
When you were listening to the watching God's Sports, we are in quarantine, but we are live or potentially not live.
Not live.
Either way, we are alive. The hell with you, COVID-19. No matter how hard you try, we are alive and kicking. Eagle's got his camera off, which is better for everyone. How's it going, Terry? How's it going, Duke?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Terry's in Duke.
See, I don't know how these things work. It's not going good. Clearly, it's not going good.
Not going well.
No.
This is gonna be a little difficult for us. We have a lot of like visual cues and stuff when we do this in studio. Now doing this from the discomfort of our own homes. It's discomfort, of course, because I don't have Eagle to set up my equipment at home. We're also being forced in our homes by the spread of the coronavirus. Guys, I don't know about you. The moment I started taking this seriously was I was walking to where Terry was actually. Terry and I were together that evening. There's a flag. We had flag football. I'm walking into the field. I get 90 tweets, one of which from Adrian Wojnarowski saying the NBA season has been postponed, has been suspended. At that point, I called my wife and said, "Hey, I think this is serious because if billionaires are willing to sacrifice millions of dollars, that's the thing that tells me we should be paying attention to what's going on." That was my feeling. Gentlemen, what were your sentiments?
It's something like $160 million a day or something for the NBA owners that they're losing. So the fact that they're all like, okay, no, it's not even an option at this point, and it's pretty serious. There's too many conspiracy theories that I want to jump into, but I'm not gonna.
Well, are you one of these that thinks there's no virus?
No, there's a virus. Clearly, there's.
Or are you one of these that thinks that Bill Gates created the virus?
Not Bill Gates. Bill Gates talked about something like this in 2015. Not about the virus, but it's something like a virus can kill. Is gonna.
Because of the Ebola.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, no, he's not. I'm not saying that he created it. I'm not saying that at all. No, about how China created this virus so they can tank our stock markets. Yeah.
But their stock market is also tanked. So this week.
Oh yeah. It's actually
yeah. Everywhere. Well, now
But the two
we're at the heart of it.
Rely on each other.
No.
Yeah, but see, this is game theory being applied in real life, because if they tank their markets while tanking ours, they're gambling that they're going to be able to recover faster than us.
Exactly. Which they did.
To what benefit? China already makes lots of money having us buy from them for everything.
No, it has to do with Trump. Trump is the reason why COVID existed in Western civilization.
I thought it was because motherfuckers were eating bats.
Could be that.
Maybe it could be. I mean, that's where it started. But then they're like, oh, we have this. Why don't we just kill all Americans?
I think there's a lot of economists who can understand this and do a much better job of explaining the economies.
Not what I do.
These four idiots. Let's talk about how this affects sports. Gentlemen, we are now ending day 4 of quarantine. Day 4 of quarantine is interesting in that there's nothing for us to gamble on. With
so bored.
Our current reality, how are you guys holding up?
So fucking bored.
What do you mean? I've been watching just Netflix. Oh, and I started watching. I caught up on. I'm trying to catch up on Chernobyl, and it kind of reminds me, like, it's giving me the whole COVID-19 vibe. So I don't know. It's a little.
Did you have you seen in
the nuclear disaster is reminding you of a viral outbreak?
No, the panic.
Oh.
Have you seen the pizza guy yet in the show?
The pizza guy.
So there's a character in the show that's so heavily affected by nuclear radiation that his face looks like a pepperoni pizza.
Oh, I saw that guy. Yeah.
Incredible. It made me automatically want to order pizza.
I thought you meant the Pizza Bomber, which I'm watching a documentary about on Netflix about the Pizza Bomber.
I definitely want to see that too.
Yeah, you got to see it. It's called
I missed that.
Taste frozen.
Peace talk.
There we go. Amidst all this, the NFL is working hard to give us news. They're kind of breaking quarantine and they're allowing for physicals, although I would imagine that the physicals would, in the very least, indicate whether players do or do not have coronavirus. I think there's at least a positive in there. But the first bit of news that, of course, shook all NFL fans was Tom Brady going to the once creamsicle, now pewter and disgusting orange, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I thought you were going to
One,
say
is that
most
confirmed? Two, is that actually the biggest news?
Well, it's the biggest news in that it's the first thing I wrote down on this piece of paper.
I thought you were going to say biggest news is Joe Flacco failed his physical.
I thought
There's
the
also
biggest
Todd
news
Gurley,
was Hopkins
Todd
being
Gurley.
traded.
Hopkins being traded is probably bigger
Oh,
than
yeah,
Tom
that's
Brady.
right.
I find,
All
yeah.
of these
That's only
things
big
are
because the
on
trade
the
sucked.
list.
That's
Yeah, but
only
you
a
don't
big
have
trade
the
because it
list,
sucked.
Pease.
I have the list, so just
Yeah, yeah.
listen.
Okay,
Great
yeah,
point.
we're talking
If
about Tom
only
Brady.
there was this technology that we can have to share ideas.
Yeah.
If only Pease knew how to use technology.
Listen, man, I don't have a producer here. Our producer's lazy. He didn't come over. He didn't break
I'm
quarantine
quarantined.
just to help me with my technological woes. Eagle, you're to blame. I'm
Yeah.
sorry to say, but it's entirely
Very
your fault.
true. Very true. I blame Eagle.
So who are we talking about now?
Tom Brady.
$80.
Brady. Talking about Brady?
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's great. Great offense. I wish he was with the Raiders, but instead we got a little baby Mariota. Can't wait for that.
Do you think they're going to go after Antonio Brown now?
Actually, I think they're going to go after Jameis Winston and have the trifecta of garbage. Carr,
Wait, I'm talking about the Buccaneers.
but I don't care. Carr, have Mariota, and then have Winston. Wouldn't that be the most interesting offseason quarterback battle?
Listen, I love watching Jameis Winston throw the ball because
Yes.
he doesn't care who catches it, which
Yeah.
is me, but someone's going to catch the ball all the time.
Eagle, what's that thing you told us? You basically stole it off of a meme? About Jameis Winston?
First touchdown was an interception.
No, that's not what he said. He said
Last
basically
touchdown
that
was an interception.
Eagle has said at some point, but he's in quarantine somewhere. He's saying that Jameis Winston got his eyes fixed just to watch Tom Brady steal his job.
No, but his first touchdown was a pick six for the Bucks in his career, and his last touchdown for the Bucks, his last throw for the Bucks was a pick. So serendipity.
But it might not be his last because you have to consider. I mean, obviously Brady's going to have that job, right?
No,
But
he's gonna leave. He's not gonna stay there. His agents will never let him stay there. No way.
he's under
First in
contract.
First in touchdowns and second in touchdowns and first in yards last year.
So where do you guys see Winston going though in that case?
Well, what I'm curious about more
I don't
so
know.
is, firstly, I don't know how it is that the pieces that are there in Mike Evans and Goodwin really work with Tom Brady, and that they're not really refined route runners, and Tom Brady's not a guy who will chuck it up down the sideline.
He also
and
doesn't
the
have a
other
big
side-
arm anymore.
No, not at all. And the other side of this is it's got kind of like the Golden State / LeBron effect of apparently players have told their agents to contact Tampa Bay because they now want to join the Bucks. That was reported
Todd
by.
Gurley, I guess.
Sorry.
Maybe Todd Gurley now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But they have a lot of running backs in that position. Like I don't see why the Tampa Bay Bucks would want to sign Todd Gurley. Like they have Ronald Jones and they have Agunwale and they have a couple of other guys that
So they have a lot of
do that
running
job.
backs. They
It
don't
just
have
is
a lot of good running backs.
But I understand that, but at the same time, like you don't necessarily need an expensive running back in today's NFL.
It's not necessarily expensive because he's not going to get a lot
He's
of money anyway.
expensive.
He's already 30 years old. Yeah, but his contract is released, so he's a free agent. So he's
And
already
he's
30 years old. He's not going to get a lot of money.
He's getting $10.5 million from the Rams to pay
Right.
for something else this season. So part of the salary is already paid for. So
Yeah.
someone's going to pick him up for $5 or $6
Colts. I'm trying to say now Colts. I'm gonna go to Colts.
Well, where's he from? He's from Georgia.
He's from Indianapolis. He's going to the
Didn't he
Colts.
play for Georgia?
Yeah.
So he must be from Georgia.
I mean, not necessarily. It could be.
I mean,
from,
but more chances are likely that he's from Georgia. Let's say he is from Georgia.
He's not. I'm looking it up. I'm gonna look it up. Come on.
there's only way producers to look this up.
Let's say he is from Georgia. Wouldn't it be nice for him to go to Atlanta? Didn't they just release Devontae Freeman?
They did.
Also, Clay Babs got.
Todd Gurley, Atlanta. I don't know.
Did you guys see what Todd Gurley just tweeted too? He's like, damn, I got fired on my day off. Hashtag going through the show.
But what a fall from grace the Rams are, eh? Holy fuck.
Well, we knew there was a cap issue that they created for themselves.
When you pay Aaron Donald that much money, obviously, it's kind of.
They could. I have a.
He's from Baltimore, Maryland. He's going to Ravens.
I had a feeling they couldn't really move Gurley because the value of running backs, of course, is not what it used to be, but also if the issue with his arthritis is something that would come up, it's something that wouldn't allow him to pass his physical.
Right. He has arthritis?
Yeah, because apparently he came out 2 years ago saying that he had arthritis in his knee.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Because of that, I don't think the trade would be allowed. And they were going to get minimal offers for any teams willing to waive the physical anyway, knowing that the Rams were kind of A, in this cap situation, and B, in a situation where Gurley wasn't going to pass physical. That said, the last 8 Super Bowl winners have had running backs who have earned less than $2 million a year. So maybe there is something to be said to Duke's point that it doesn't appear as though having invested that much value into running back is even valuable in the NFL at that point.
Which I'll do the transition here, which means that you must be dumb as dirt if you're going to give up DeAndre Hopkins for a running back.
So I'm of two minds. The first thing, I reacted like most people when I first saw the trade, like, fuck. The other side of it is DeAndre Hopkins. There were a couple people last season talking about his separation and his separation decreasing from cornerbacks on average routes from previous years, and that his body is not what it once was. Okay. That said, the guy's catch radius is stupid. The guy almost has no drops in a single season. I think David Johnson's actually a nice piece for Watson to have, and that he's a guy who can catch the ball, he can block, he can run in the backfield. I don't really know what happened in Arizona last season.
Well, he was injured. He was also injured, and he was underproducing compared to Carlos Hyde and other guys, though. So.
But is there a chance that Houston maybe saw the signs that hey, we have a wide receiver who's wearing down. Let's take a chance on this running back and get a second-round pick in return. Yeah,
Hopkins. I love that because it makes sense for a guy like O'Brien who has no foresight whatsoever. It's like let's trade for a running back that's wearing down for a wide receiver. Like, let's trade away a generational wide receiver for a guy that might not even last a couple
years. But the thing is, the point is, like, what if we don't know this on the inside? What if Hopkins is wearing down as well? Because I remember reading last season, guys who do the stats on this kind of stuff saying that DeAndre Hopkins' separation was drastically decreasing as compared to previous seasons. So maybe the worry is
that might be so, but what he got in return was ridiculous, and it looked even worse.
I don't think
for sure.
I agree with you. I think
and it looked even worse for anyone that thought it was a good trade. Like, literally a couple of hours later, Stephon Diggs gets traded and a massive haul. You know, and it makes me feel like
Hopkins and Diggs.
It makes me try to understand, like, who's really making those decisions. Obviously, O'Brien's the GM in that situation, but there's really no one else outside of O'Brien that's really there to check him, which really worries me for that franchise. You know.
Yeah. The thing is that if you're gonna give up Hopkins for a running back,
but they also gave back a draft pick, which is insane. Like, they essentially swapped draft picks.
Arizona's not the only team looking for receivers.
No, definitely not. I'm sure the Patriots would have gladly given him more. The Patriots would give him more. The Raiders would probably pitched in. I'm sure the Dolphins have a need. The Colts, who recently have Philip Rivers.
The Patriots are notorious for really.
You can't tell me there was no better trade on the table than what he got there. Like, it didn't make any sense.
I agree.
Yeah, and David Johnson is a nice running back, but too many injury issues right there to worry about.
I think it's a panic move. I think they were just trying to move him while they can get some value. And Bill O'Brien, again, to your point, Duke, maybe lacking foresight, but maybe just panic switch, saying, "Hey, you know what? What if this is the down year? What if next year I can't get anything for him?"
Exactly. Yeah.
We saw, like, Terry, you and I talked about this a lot with Des Bryant, where the cliff hit in like a second.
Yeah.
He was a dominant receiver, and then the next year was basically a borderline a guy who couldn't even make a roster.
Shannon Sharp came out a couple of days ago saying that one of the main reasons why that happened is because there was a rift in the locker room. Because during a private meeting in the previous season, or maybe in the offseason, I'm not sure, Bill O'Brien had him in the meeting, basically referred to him as Aaron Hernandez, not saying that he was Hernandez, but Michael Irvin came out and said that, and said like that he was saying, we don't want your baby and mom around. Look at what happened to Aaron Hernandez. We don't want your baby. We don't want your baby mama around. And it's like they're two completely different guys. You're basically putting him on the same pedestal as a murderer.
More than accused mass murderer.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
Killer, I will say.
Convicted mass murderer.
Yeah.
No, convicted murderer, accused serial killer because he had those two guys in Boston, and the other guy is just a guy who got 2 women pregnant.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Because he has a dick.
Yeah, but like
Jesus.
2 years ago, if you want to talk about decline, Hopkins' decline isn't like what Des Bryant's was. Hopkins 2 years ago didn't drop.
Yeah.
Okay. Last year he was having a great season.
If the coaching staff is worried that decline is coming, they like a wide receiver who's fallen off the cliff, you can't get anything for.
Okay, fine, but you also how quick is a decline for a running back? He also look at Todd Gurley, look at David Johnson.
It's a risk. It's a risk, but if we might end up looking at this. The thing is, I actually don't think much of Bill O'Brien, but the worst part is I can actually see a world where this ends up being just they get a 2nd-round pick and give up a 5th-round pick, and both players were basically not effective. Yeah. And then Bill O'Brien looks like a genius, which he's not.
It was a 4th, not a 5th, and you could have gotten a 1st.
Yes, absolutely. For Hopkins, 1,000%.
But we don't.
You're talking about a guy that had 1,000. He had 1,000 plus yards. He had 104 catches, 7 touchdowns. And obviously that doesn't take into account the later half of the season. But that's still a really productive receiver. And in a time where a guy like Amari Cooper is signing this gigantic contract, it's just and also Hopkins is still fairly young. I know we're saying like he's 30 years old or whatnot, but I want it. But to me that trade to me is horrendous. And this is like considering the fact that we've seen some really bad trades in the past. Like this has to be one of the worst ones I've seen in a long time.
It's a bad one for now, but obviously we have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and like I said, the worst part about this is the best case scenario for Bill O'Brien is that he looks like a genius when he's clearly not.
Well, please consider this for a sec, though. Like you're always the one that will talk about how it's all about the value. Forget about the future one. You really have to get what you get in terms of that trade at the moment. Well,
but that's my point. Is I think that the trade was constructed from the Texans who are fearful that what if he sits out because of that rift in the locker room, or B, what if there's something they have information with regards to their medical staff and medical crew saying, hey, look, this guy is not going to last much longer, and they're making a move for the future. We don't know that. We don't have that information. We're only going by what we see in terms of overall production. We also don't, the 4 of us are not looking at the All-11 film. We can only look at what other pundits say as well as the final results say, 1,000 yards, X amount of catches and 7 touchdowns, but we don't actually know what's happening on the medical side of this.
Yeah, behind the scenes and everything.
Sean Payton joins the most recent cases of COVID-19. That it's surprising to me that we know we've been in quarantine for 4 days, but the United States basically waited for Rudy Gobert to touch a bunch of microphones before reacting. It seemed bizarre. It seemed like we needed Tom Hanks and Rudy Gobert to be infected before people started getting quarantine, and only now does it seem to be taken seriously.
Yeah, the idiot hero. They call him the idiot hero, Rudy Gobert.
Well, one of those things is true, and he's not heroic. So let's stick with it. And Donovan Mitchell, poor teammate of his, this guy's probably sloppily touching everyone in the locker room, coughing.
How fucked up is it, too, that in the last game that they had played, the dude that was defending Rudy Gobert also got infected with COVID?
Yeah, well, if you're touching him for an hour, there's almost no way you're not going to get infected.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure everybody else touched him, too.
Yeah. Well, but so what's interesting is the NBA, it looks like they're ahead of the curve, and they're willing to suspend games while the other leagues are sitting on their asses. But in reality, they also were put in a position where, hey, Rudy Gobert is positive. Now the players who were in contact with him, everyone who was in contact with him, which is a lot of people when you're a pro athlete, need to be quarantined for 14 days. How do you handle that short of suspending games, which is what they did? So they look proactive while being entirely reactive at the same time.
I just saw Marcus Smart also has coronavirus. He just tested positive for Marcus Smart from the Celtics.
But the thing is that we're going to hear about cases for months. The leagues will resume eventually, regardless of what's going to happen. The games will probably be canceled, not postponed, because you won't have enough time. They're not going to push NHL games or basketball games into the summer. They won't do it.
Do you think we're going to have a champion in?
Yeah, I do, absolutely.
I don't think so. I think
no, I don't think so either.
I think we're not going to see any sporting events till the summer, Terry. And I don't think it's worthwhile for them to run a playoff seemingly out of nowhere once you haven't been on the court.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I was thinking too, is that they're not going to just start the playoffs. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. What are they going to do? Continue the regular season in July? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense for me.
I mean, nobody's
that
going to be traveling. The reason why no sports happen in the summer is because nobody travels.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that what they'll probably do is just crown LeBron James champion just because they love LeBron James. And they'll say, you know what, we got the best record. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, we've already seen in pro sports in 1918 the NHL canceled the season due to the spread of influenza. So I mean, there is precedent for this.
Was there a LeBron James though?
Sorry?
Was there a Lebron James pulling the strings?
There was
some guy probably named Shoeless Joe that was very good.
What'd you say, Terry?
I said there was a guy named Shoeless Joe Weinberg or something that was good probably back then. That sold 13 seats a game.
Well,
and they're like, we can't risk this guy.
In reading this, I didn't know that Vezina actually died from the influenza in 1918.
Get out! I didn't know
that either.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, died from the influenza. That's nuts. And here's the thing too is so there's a chance that an athlete has a heart issue or imagine in a situation like Chris Bosh who had these underlying blood clots. We don't know how it'll these.
Jay Cutler has diabetes.
Yeah, we don't know how this will be affected with this virus. One thing we do know for certain is Darius Slay moving on to Philadelphia Eagles. I guess they got roasted by every receiver in the NFL last season. I think that's a huge move for Philadelphia.
I think it's a big move by the Eagles.
Darius Slay is an incredible athlete. He's unreal. So, I've seen this before. I've seen this before with franchises, and my team, the Raiders, have done this on a constant basis. The best possible cornerback in the league, and it just doesn't work out. And unfortunately, it works in NFL. It's not about one cornerback. Teams tend to avoid that guy, And then what happens is they a lot of offenses, they'll try to shift things in motion and move away from that one cornerback. I honestly think that it's going to take a lot more than him. And I've seen too many examples. Signing a Darrelle Revis or signing a top cornerback and spending all your money on that, and then the rest of your defense is suffering because at the end of the day, it's as much as it's about the cornerbacks, it's all about the pressure you put on the quarterback.
Revis when he joined the Patriots and they got a Super Bowl.
No, he didn't win.
He did win. We did this already.
No. Yes, I understand that, but
I'm pretty sure it was the year that they lost. The second year time they lost to the Giants.
But Revis, that wasn't his only stop. He made a lot of money with the Jets, didn't do anything with them. There's a lot of teams, even with the Eagles when they signed Asamoah when he came out or when he was a free agent from the Raiders, they gave him so much money and they didn't do much. A lot of money on that one top tier cornerback, the guy on the top of the market. They give him $100 million per piece.
When I find he's wrong because I haven't. Darrelle Revis, Super Bowl champion, XLIX.
Against who?
Cool.
I don't know, XLIX.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
But generally speaking, when you spend that kind of money on a cornerback, like the rest of your defense suffers because of the salary cap that's in place. You know, I mean, it's just I think it's good, but unfortunately, the Eagles have a lot more problems than just their cornerback position.
But in the end, there aren't that many free agent signings of a team because
exactly.
The last name Roethlisberger, Brady, or Manning. So I mean, in the end, unless you have that position absolutely nailed, you have four guys who give you a chance to win a Super Bowl. Other than
Are you guys sold on Wentz? Are you guys sold on Wentz?
Yeah.
Do you think he could be a championship?
On who?
I think so too. Do you think he would be a championship quarterback, Carson Wentz? If healthy.
I kind of was on the fence until last season. When you throw 5,000 yards to me and Terry in a cooler, that's impressive.
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah, there was nobody left on that team. You threw 5,000 yards, and he didn't have a single receiver over 500 yards. So it almost didn't matter who else was on the team. The team performed absolutely admirably. I think the coaching staff's particularly strong in Philadelphia. I think a lot of key positions in terms of protecting the passer and rushing the passer are settled. And if Carson Wentz doesn't get injured at the beginning of that playoff game, they might even win a playoff game.
Sure.
I think that the sample size is small, but when we've seen him healthy, we've seen him play at a quarterback of the year pace.
I just noticed something. We have 3 very different kinds of beards.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so
it's bad. And my barbershop is closed now. Please, are you guys barbershops open? Because mine closed.
This is on me.
I gotta get rid of.
I'm a Shelly girl.
But I was going every 2 weeks to get mine done before this, so by next week my beard will probably be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, let's just start growing it out. Let's just grow it out, and then we'll just make a collage of all the beard growth.
I'm gonna grow my hair.
Because we don't know. We might be doing this for weeks. We have no idea.
I'm gonna be Sideshow Bob in a couple of weeks with my hair, so
nice.
That's gonna be problematic. So all that talk about free agency, the reason why I brought it up was my Miami Dolphins spending money like this is the apocalypse. They as well as having I want to say 4 picks in the top 2 rounds this year. They also signed Byron Jones, Kyle Van Noy, Jordan Howard.
Byron Jones is so good, by the way. Now, talking about cornerbacks that are overvalued, he is exceptional. If anything, that's the guy that the Eagles should have gone for. I don't know what. It's insane.
They signed 2 guys on the offensive line. They signed Kyle Van Noy, who I think is a very good linebacker.
Yes.
Jordan Howard is an effective running back without breaking the bank for one of the top tier guys, let's say Melvin Gordon or as they're to go after. And Byron Jones is amongst this position. So, the Dolphins went out. They're trying to be good quickly. They don't want this 5-year rebuild once they draft a quarterback. They want to surround the quarterback with the talent you want. And as a fan, I'm happy to see that. Will this work? God, no. It's the Miami Dolphins. All these guys spend too much time doing coke off strippers' asses.
But I'm just trying to think of a team that spent a lot of money on free agents and it turned out to work out in their favor.
The Rams got to a Super Bowl that way.
They got 2 a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they got 2. You know what? How many Super Bowls the Raiders, Dolphins, and Cowboys have been to in the last 15 years?
That no one cares about how many Super Bowls you've been to, though. No one cares about the NFL. It's great in soccer. It's great in hockey. It's great in. Unfortunately, in football, no one cares about almost. They only care about championships.
Well, you're wrong. You're completely wrong because I am tired of watching the Joey Harringtons of the world.
Same. I would love for my team to make the playoffs. I would love it.
Ryan Fitzpatrick being the leading running back on the team. So you know what, Jordan Howard? Yes, welcome. I will pay for your next lap dance. Thank you for joining my Dolphins.
If the Dolphins don't pull a Dolphin, they will in 2 years they will be a Super Bowl contender.
Well, that's all depends on how the quarterback works out, right? They're going to draft a quarterback. That's clear. Now, this needs to work because otherwise, as we've discussed, if you don't have that position nailed, unless it's again one of these top tier guys, it never works to just sign all the other pieces.
Honestly, I'm going to throw a curveball here, and I'm going to say if they get what pick do they have? 3rd?
The 5th.
Yeah, they might have the 5th.
Producer.
Justin Herbert will fall to them, and I think they should go Justin Herbert.
Honestly, I don't think you can go wrong with Burrow, Tua, or Herbert. I think to me, look good. I
But
think
people are forgetting about Herbert, how good he is. That's what I'm saying.
he's very good. And the other side of it is, I think that there's a next tier of quarterbacks. 4 teams not drafting in top 10. Like if you look at Love, Hurts, and Fromm, these are guys.
Trevor Lawrence.
And Trevor Lawrence is not this draft. That's next draft.
Oh, it's true. He's staying 1 year. It's true.
Yeah. But so if you look at those guys, and even Easton, like those are guys who, in the right circumstance, maybe like a Matt Ryan, where if all the other pieces around them work really well, these are guys who can be really effective in the league.
Yeah.
Or someone like Matt Stafford, who, you know what, again, he hasn't won a championship, but again, only 4 or 5 guys have won a championship in more than a decade. So it's more than that. Just being competitive, being able to watch competitive football on a week-in, week-out basis. That's what I'm looking forward to. So there's literally half a dozen guys that can get you that, I think. And I think the Dolphins have a good chance, given the fact that they'll, at the very worst, get Justin Herbert, who was going to be a first overall pick last year if he came out of the draft last year.
It's true. Very true. And at the end of the day, back to Byron Jones, as a Cowboys fan, it's a huge loss. 2 years ago, the guy had no penalties against him. You know what it is to be a corner and you playing in
Never get a penalty.
and never
Never
get
get a penalty.
penalty?
It's
You know
insane.
what it is?
It's insane.
To play for
He's
the hated
his
Dallas
technique-
Cowboys and never get
He
a
has. I've actually watched him quite a bit. His technique is incredible. Like it's almost like he's able to get in the way all the time without actually physically getting on a receiver, which I've never seen.
There is a video of him on his Instagram. It's from like 3 or 4 years ago, where he dislocates his knee on the field and he pops it back into place. It's really
Incredible.
nasty, and he continues running.
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching
Yeah, no one's watching that.
If you're going to show that on like Sunday while I'm watching, I will change the channel.
I'm gonna send it to you guys. You guys gotta see it.
Yeah,
Find
send it away. Send it away.
it right now.
It's
I'm looking right now.
Duke, you have the final segment.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys 3 questions about the apocalypse. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And you guys give me your opinion. So question 1. Okay, so all 3 questions are all about the pandemic and just survival, just your survival instincts.
All right.
Okay, so number 1. Okay. How many times you change your underwear, or how many times have you changed your underwear so far?
Like twice a day, because even more than normal, because I'm sitting around in my like pajama all day. I'm pretty disgusting as it is.
Yeah.
I literally only got dressed to do this podcast. Aside from that, I'm home and I can do laundry. So you know what? Like I have 1 dirty underwear. That's a little laundry.
That's right. Yeah.
Gives me something to do because there's no sports. There's really nothing at all to do with all of my time other than do laundry and some stupid other shit.
Terry.
I want to say for the last 4 days, I haven't worn underwear.
Now,
Nice. Not expecting that.
Actually,
That's
right now I'm in
weird.
underwear because I did leave the house to get some pastries.
that seems like a reason to break quarantine.
Yeah.
Well, it is the Facebook of Sundry Saturday, so we should be having.
It is. That's what I.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, question number 2. What is your weapon of choice in the case that someone breaks into your house? Terry, you go first. Terry, you go first.
Okay, go.
Let's switch your
I mean, I'm a lethal weapon for that, guys.
I've seen the movie Lethal Weapon. You ain't shit compared to me. First of all, second of all, I brought up my rusty machete. I've kept it in my garage for all this time. One side is a saw blade, the other side is machete, and it is rusted to fuck. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know why I kept it, but you know what? It worked out because it's the apocalypse, and I am motherfucking ready.
And I will need a tetanus shot at the end of it, for sure.
Oh, and probably me too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we have a final question and a bonus question. Final question: how much toilet paper should you buy for the next 3 weeks? Terry, peace. Go first.
I don't understand why people are filling up shopping carts. Like, how much did you plan on shitting because of coronavirus? Does coronavirus have the side effect of giving you uncontrollable diarrhea that I'm not aware of?
It does
I got
not.
myself 1 regular Costco pack. I think I'm okay. Terry, is that all you got too? Terry, is that all you got?
This is all you need.
No, you're gonna run out. There's none left at the grocery stores at all. Like,
So
there's no
someone
grocery
actually
to do
built
that.
a
I
calculator where it
I
says
was
how many
basically
times do you
the
actually use the washroom, how many pieces of TP do you use every time you wipe, is it 2-ply, 3-ply, how many pieces in a roll, etc., and it'll calculate how much you'll need.
Yeah.
Spoilers, all of us have way too much toilet paper at home.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is I've been living in this place since March 4th, okay? I just opened my 3rd roll of toilet paper.
It's because you eat too many bananas. You don't shit enough. All right, last one.
You say March 4th?
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks and you've used 3 rolls?
No, I just opened my.
I told you he eats too many bananas. He eats too many bananas.
I
And
get
the last
a roll a
is,
week.
this is bonus question. This is bonus question. In the case that the apocalypse breaks out, who are you going to rob first? Eagle, I want you to start.
Who am I going to rob? No, man, I gotta protect myself from being robbed. So I'm just staying home with a shotgun in the corner.
Assuming you have nothing left. You have nothing.
I'm gonna rob Eagle because I know he's home. I know he's got just one shotgun. So all I gotta do is be smart about this, have the right approach, good game plan. Wait for him to run out of toilet paper because it's bound to happen, and I'm coming for you. By the way, investment of the year, bidet. I got one. You guys can all worry about your toilet paper.
It's so true. You're doing it.
You're
Terry,
an ass washer, motherfuckers.
Terry, who are you robbing first?
Who am I robbing first? That's a really good question. I am gonna go after. I feel like Jeff Molson is hoarding a lot of food. Owner of the Montreal Canadiens.
Do it.
Hoarding a lot of food, hoarding a lot of beer. He charges way too much at the Habs games. He hasn't paid his employees. He's one of the only NHL owners that hasn't paid his employees during this off time.
No,
He's
they
a piece
have.
of shit. No, he's not paying.
Oh.
No, they're not paying the Habs players had to come out and play. It wasn't Jeff Molson. The Habs players took money out of their own pockets and are paying the employees.
Good. They had a shitty season.
It's cheap.
Good
He
thing.
needs to be robbed. Go fuck himself.
Also, Terry, technically, is it robbery when you consider that you bought those hot dogs and beers with your season tickets that you
Exactly.
can't use now? Are they
Exactly.
refunding? Are they refunding?
No answer yet.
No answer. All right.
That-
Sure.
No communication.
That's it for today. This is the quarantine version of Hot Sauce Sports. Hopefully we'll be back in studio soon. If not, we'll have a ton of tremendous technical difficulties, all of them named Peas. I am Peas. You're Terry. You're Duke.
You've been listening to Hot Sauce.
I don't know if it's
Sports.
working or not. Thank you, Eagle. You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.
I did it
Beautiful work.
anyways.
Nice.
Ciao.
Later, boys.
Dinner time.
You're a sexy motherfucker.
Later, buddy.
Have a good one, man.